What's up, awesome YouTubers? Ryan1988 or Justin back here to do a video for you all. Hope you're all doing well out there. And today I thought I would recommend 10 of my favorite films I love to watch in October slash the Halloween season. As we are approaching the last week of September and going into October, I wanted to recommend some movies you guys can watch next month during the Halloween season, October season. These are 10 of my favorite films, made for TV movies that I love. And I love watching these during the, kind of pre October Halloween season. So, kind of like the, mid September kind of, kind of around mid September. I love to watch these movies. And then, of course, in October and the Halloween season, I watch a whole bunch of horror movies and non horror movies that kind of just give me that October Halloween feel. And so this video is not only going to be horror movies, I'm going to recommend some non-horror movies that if you're not a fan of scary films, if you're not a fan of horror movies, you can watch these other films. Or, say if you're getting, your kids or nieces and nephews or whoever may be, a younger audience into horror movies, but you don't want to introduce them to, like the scary movies right away. These are some great movies that I think anybody can watch. Some of these are great movies that I think anybody can watch. And so I recommend every one of these. I tried to pick some that you might not have seen, but of course there's some classic ones in here, some essential Halloween watches. But starting off, these are going to be honorable mentions. I did not bring up or did not show any of the Halloween movies. That Halloween franchise, of course, is something you want to watch. And with Halloween Kills coming out next month, you want to watch those Halloween movies. I love, the franchise. I love Michael Myers. Love the Halloween films. Trick or Treat from 2007. I feel like that's a essential Halloween watch. And if you haven't seen it yet, of course, go watch that. And of course, Hocus Pocus being another essential October Halloween watch. That is a must. So those are some honorable mentions. But let's get started, guys. Some of these movies have franchises, so I'm going to recommend pretty much any of them. So while I'm recommending like a, top 10 or 10 films to watch next month during the October Halloween season, I'm cheating a little bit, just a little bit, and I'll explain why when I get to them. But starting off, we got something that's not a horror movie, but they are great films to watch during the October Halloween season, and that is the Halloween Town, franchise. Now, I have only seen Halloween Town, Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge, and Halloween Town 3 or Halloween Town High. I've not seen Return to Halloween Town. I don't know if that's any good. I know the lead actress from the first three movies, she's not in that, and Sarah Paxton's in that movie. She kind of replaced the original actress. So I have not seen that one. I've seen the other films. Me personally, my two favorites, though, are the first two movies. I grew up with those movies. I remember when those came out on Disney. I really feel like Disney doesn't make movies like this anymore. But these are great ones. And, these are pretty popular films, but outside of like Hocus Pocus, that family friendly Halloween movie, you can watch some other ones in like the Halloween Town movies. Those are perfect ones. So I highly recommend these. Again, I haven't seen the fourth one. I will be watching all of these next month. So I'm looking forward to checking out the fourth one, although I haven't heard too many great things about it. But, if you're going to watch any of them, if you're going to start watching these movies, definitely watch Halloween Town and Halloween Town the most. But, of course, I have all four of them there. Walmart has those for a really good price. So if you're looking to pick those up on DVD, pick them up during the month of October at Walmart. The next one is a film that I think, adults and kids could watch together. A family could watch together. Say if you're wanting to introduce your kids to, kind of more of like suspenseful, Halloween-based films or horror movies out there. This isn't exactly a horror movie, but it has some good suspenseful, eerie moments in it, and that is Watcher in the Woods from 1980 or 1981. I actually picked up the Disney Movie Club exclusive Blu-ray, but I decided to show the DVD because I know this one's more available to get. This is a great film from the early 80s. Early 80s. It has Kyle Richards in the movie, who was in Halloween. She's going to be in Halloween Kills. She's from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's the younger sister in this movie. Betty Davis is in this film. A lot of other familiar faces you probably have seen from other, early, movies and television shows. But Watcher in the Woods, I think this is great for anybody. Again, if you're wanting to introduce, a young audience to, horror movies that aren't completely horror movies, Watcher in the Woods is a great one to start off with. I think this is great. I think it's pretty suspenseful. And I think it's something that, when it came out in, the early 80s on the Disney Channel or wherever it came out, it was pretty groundbreaking and different for the time. And I think it might have been a little controversial when it came out because of how suspenseful it is, how eerie it is. But Watcher in the Woods, this is a great one, guys. So I highly recommend that. Now going into something that is just easily became one of my favorites when I saw it in theaters, and that is Frankenweenie. So, Nightmare Before Christmas, that is a great October, even Christmas-based film to watch. But you know what? I feel like Frankenweenie, out of the kind of two Tim Burton, produced or directed films out there, I think out of the two, Frankenweenie is pretty underrated. If you love the Frankenstein story, if you love Disney films, if you love those animated movies, check out Frankenweenie. I think this is great. I know this is based off of Tim Burton's short film that he did in the 80s, and I have seen that, and that is great. But I love this animated movie, and it's honestly one of my favorite October-based movies. That's why it's on this list. But I feel like not a lot of people talk about it. I feel like it's still, while loved by some people, still underrated, underappreciated. And of course, we have again Nightmare Before Christmas, which that is a essential, Halloween and Christmas-based movie to watch. But Frankenweenie, I feel like, kind of fell under the radar, and it's a movie that you should check out. Great, voice actors in this: Winona Ryder, Catherine Hicks, so many others. Yeah, Frankenweenie. Check this one out if you've never seen it. That is a must watch. Going into another Tim Burton movie, this is a great Halloween-based film, even though, you don't have like the Halloween atmosphere in the film. It takes place around October. It's one of it is my favorite adaptation of this story. And I feel like it's a pretty, underrated or underappreciated Tim Burton movie, and that is Sleepy Hollow. Now, this movie does have a fan base, so when I say underappreciated or underrated, outside of a lot of other Tim Burton movies, I feel like, this one doesn't get enough love. It does have a fan base out there, but I still feel like, people don't talk about it as much when it comes to, the Tim Burton greats out there. But Sleepy Hollow, easily one of my favorite Tim Burton movies, top 5 Tim Burton movies, and one of my favorite films to watch during the month of October and the Halloween season. You have that great fall, dreary atmosphere in the movie. You have a great cast, great suspense, and, say if you're wanting to introduce maybe your young teens to horror movies out there, this is one to kind of get them into. It's not completely scary. It has a great kind of feel to it, a great kind of charm, but also has the suspense and scare. So you can introduce this movie to a young audience, kind of like the teenage range. But Sleepy Hollow, guys, I absolutely love this, and it's one I watch every year. So definitely check that one out. Of course, being a slasher movie fan, I have to watch slasher movies during the month of October. And this is a fun one. This is a modern slasher film that came out in 2018, I believe. And, it came out, people talked about it a little bit, but since then, I feel like it's underappreciated, underrated, and that is Hellfest. I personally love this movie. I know this movie is not loved by everybody. Another movie came out, Haunt, which I think is a pretty good film, had the same type of kind of theme park or haunted house based style to it. And I know a lot more people love that film, and I do enjoy that movie. I'm more of a Hellfest fan, though. So Hellfest, this is just a great and fun slasher film. Takes place in a horror movie theme park around Halloween. So This is another perfect October Halloween-based movie. And if you just want a good time, some good suspense, great, practical kills in a movie, Hellfest is one I recommend checking out. I want to talk about a Carpenter movie. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about Halloween. Everybody knows about that. That is my favorite movie and my favorite horror movie. But another Carpenter movie that I absolutely love and has that perfect atmosphere, that cold, atmospheric atmosphere, that dreary atmosphere at times, is The Fog. More of like a cold, kind of windy atmosphere to it, but I love The Fog. This is probably my second favorite Carpenter movie. It always goes back and forth between this and John Carpenter's The Thing. Definitely my top three, The Thing, The Fog, and Halloween. Those are my top three Carpenter movies. But The Fog is fantastic. I love, again, the atmosphere. I love the dreariness that you do have in the movie. This movie has a lot of great day shots. It has a lot of great night shots. A lot of great practical effects. And of course, the cast is perfect in this movie. And you can't forget the score. Carpenter is really well known for doing a lot of his own scores for his movies. This is one of the best. This is probably the scariest theme that he has, or one of the scariest themes that he has. I really love the score in this movie. So The Fog, if you haven't seen it, which you pretty much probably have. You probably all have seen this movie. But if you haven't seen this movie, or if it's been a while since you've seen it, highly recommend revisiting this movie next month during the October Halloween season. This is another kind of twofer here, but I feel like this would be a great double feature. And of course, one movie is known, it's a classic film, and I feel like this sequel is a little bit underappreciated and underrated. So if you want to do a double feature, I highly recommend The Exorcist, which is a classic, and The Exorcist 3. I love both these movies. I honestly prefer The Exorcist 3 as my favorite of the franchise. I know that's crazy. The Exorcist is a classic film. It's a scary film. It's an eerie film. I love this movie. I feel like Exorcist 3 is a little bit scarier though. I love the atmosphere. It's a perfect double feature with the original. They connect really well together. Characters that are in this film or in this movie, or characters are mentioned. This is also just a fantastic standalone movie. And while this is a classic and a lot of people love it, I feel like The Exorcist 3 is still one of those films that, even though some people talk about it, and when they do talk about it, they do love it, it's still pretty underrated and pretty underappreciated. So I highly recommend, if you're going to do a double feature or one of your double features during the month of October, do a Exorcist and Exorcist 3 double feature, guys. So love them both. And this Blu-ray right here from Scream Factory, I love it because you have two different versions of the film on here. You have the theatrical cut and you have the director's cut, which that cut is the version that William Peter Blatty preferred. But in my opinion, I think the theatrical cut is the best one. I know the studio kind of interfered with that movie towards the end, and they had to do some reshoots and change the ending. But I'm a fan of the theatrical cut the most, and highly recommend, if you're watching this for the first time, watch the theatrical cut and then go watch the director's cut. So you get both of those versions on here, both film versions on here, and it's loaded with bonus features. So if you're going to pick up The Exorcist 3, pick up the Scream Factory release. Talking about some black and white horror movies, some Universal monster movies. Of course, you gotta watch them during the month of October. And I picked out my favorite one out of the many Universal monster films we have, and I picked out Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is my favorite Universal monster movie, my favorite Universal monster character. I love the Creature from the Black Lagoon. I feel like he is one, if not the most underrated of those Universal monsters out there. He didn't get as much of the films as some of the other characters we've had, like Dracula, Frankenstein, and so many others. We only have 3, Creature from the Black Lagoon movies. I love the first one. I love the second one. Not too crazy about the third movie, but if you're going to watch any of these Universal monster movies, and if you've yet to see Creature from the Black Lagoon, you've seen the other ones, but you haven't seen him yet, give the Creature a watch, guys. Check out the movies. Absolutely love those. I want to talk about a kind of somewhat new horror movie. And, during the month of October, I try to find some different horror movies that I haven't seen yet and give them a watch. And one film that I watched actually last December, I kind of was a little bit behind on it, was the film The Dark and the Wicked. Not only is this one of my favorite modern day horror movies, I love this movie so much, but it's actually one of those films that scares me. Like, it terrifies me pretty much from beginning to end. It doesn't stop. My heart was racing. I was on the edge of my seat. And I watched this during the month of December with Christmas lights on, guys. Of course, it was at night. You gotta watch a movie like this at night, but I had some Christmas lights on. Christmas lights. And I've had friends actually say they've watched this movie during the afternoon and it still terrified them. The Dark and the Wicked, guys, if you're wanting to find some new horror movies to watch during the month of October, this is one to check out. So, I highly recommend The Dark and the Wicked. And the last movie, of course, I have to recommend another Halloween-based film. This is one of my favorite Halloween October movies, one of my favorite 80s horror movies, one of my favorite demonic possession movies, and that is Night of the Demons from 1988, I believe, 1988. Night of the Demons, this is Kevin S. Tenney's second film after Witchboard. This is a kind of scary film, but it's mostly just a fun October Halloween-based movie with great characters, great practical effects, an awesome opening, and it's just a fun movie to watch, guys. So if you haven't seen this one yet, if you're wanting to find some new Halloween-based October films, check out Night of the Demons. I feel like, besides Trick or Treat and Halloween and some of those other well-known October Halloween-based movies, Night of the Demons kind of falls under the radar. Unless you're a fan of 80s horror movies, you probably haven't seen this, and you might have, but if you haven't seen it yet, definitely check out Night of the Demons. The original film is the best. Part 2 I love. Sometimes I go back and forth if I love the original or part 2 the most. Then we have part 3 out there, which is kind of hard to find, and then the remake that came out in 2009, which is fun, but it's definitely not as good as like the first 2 movies, especially the first movie. But Night of the Demons, Linnea Quigley's in this movie. Linnea Quigley is in this movie. Amelia Kincaid's in this movie. She plays Angela. This is a fun October Halloween-based horror movie to check out, guys. So Night of the Demons. But anyway, guys, those are 10 plus some other horror movies and other Halloween-based films that I wanted to talk about and recommend for you guys to watch during the month of October and the Halloween season. So let me know what you guys think of these. What are some other ones that you would recommend? I know I left off so many other movies out there. Again, Halloween, you gotta watch that Halloween franchise. If not, John Carpenter's Halloween. And of course, the 2018 movie, because Halloween Kills is coming out. My personal favorites being, Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are just, some of my favorite of those Halloween movies. Absolutely love that franchise. And of course, Trick or Treat, great movie there. Both the 86 movie and the 2007 anthology movie. Hocus Pocus. I mean, there's so many great films out there to watch, either, kind of at the end of September, getting you into that Halloween, fall, October feel, or during the month of October and Halloween. So mix up your genres, guys. Watch some family-friendly Halloween movies. Watch some horror movies that are based around Halloween. Just have a great October, guys, and stay tuned for more videos to come. I have videos coming in October and during the Halloween season, so stay tuned there. But I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, as always. Thank you for the love and support. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. And so, as always, you guys are awesome. You guys rock. In with the positive, out with the negative. Go eat some Skittles. So much love to you all. And remember to always be yourself, because you are amazing and you are beautiful. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.